Please, put your hands together and welcome to the stage our first act of GOAF 5. It's Amerekat.
So this first song, you might have heard songs, if you've ever been to a folk festival, you might have heard songs with la 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 refrains. This one has a ha 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 refrain. We've got some nice unhinged laughter in this song. So if you recognise the tune and would like to laugh along, please do, because anything that drowns out the sound of me can only be a benefit to you.
This. The way we'll crawl, the way we'll fall, the things we've seen, the words we'll miss. We slip through the streets while intimate sleep's getting stranger and weirder and saltier and fishier. We shriek and moan and scream all night. Let's go and chance occultic cabs into the sea. You and me, stranger yawns and no one knows, but you eternal light, even death may die. Collude, yeah. Lovecraft, ha ha ha. We should swap some ancient texts, then go quite mad as the end turned bad. It's an awful thing, it's a monstrous dream, it's lunacy for you and me. At last the old ones rose, and we'll all get slain like the Louvre. We scorned, you warned us, Lovecraft. Forlorn, forewarned, oh Lovecraft. Let's creep at night through the misty moonlight and stumble across a crypt. We will become obsessed, but he must be possessed. How could we know it'd go as bad as this? My sanity is gone. You're so terribly, 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 terribly eerie. You took your cue from Edgar Allan Poe. You both knew that it's futile, we're doomed no matter what. So let's sit and write what we've seen tonight, so when we go, the rest will know it came from the sea. For you and me, we better run and hide, as the undead rise on the star-strewn skies and mankind dies. Yeah, Lovecraft, shadow out of time, oh Lovecraft.
Comedy songwriting trick number 1. If you don't think your song's funny enough, write some laughter into it. Right, this next one is, for my sins, a little bit steampunk. Ooh, yeah, no, it's very suggestive. And it's also because, isn't everyone's favourite thing a song with a moral to it? No. It's fine, it's got plenty of filth, up to and including when the moral comes along. It's all good. It's also got only 2 chords in it. At one point I thought about maybe we'd do a drinking game whenever I get the chords obviously wrong, but in this heat, with this number of Goths, for this many hours over a weekend, I think that Sister Chain and Brother John would actually like to have an audience left when I've finished. So take a sip of water every time I make a mistake. I was strolling down the docks one day when my ankles excited the attention of a man by whom my shogi was invited to see his creeping airship. Well, I frankly was elated, for I've had a little action since my husband was cremated. On a subject I have not saying, nothing I should hide, save the tea caddy which holds my stash of potent cyanide. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, I'm with the captain whose attention I'd enraptured, and whose sheets we'd soon be wrapped in, but my plan was sorely curtailed by one tiny hiccup. When he went to fly his airship, he just couldn't get it up. Why, oh why, won't your airship fly? Its hydraulic system failure has the lubricant run dry. I'd gladly hop aboard with sir and take you for a ride, but I can jump aboard another ship that's passing by. Well, the poor man booked and landed, and he fiddled with a knob, and I said I'd gladly lend a hand to finish off the job, but I was sorely disappointed as the vessel barely twitched. What a girl wants of an airship is that she be tossed and pitched till we broke. So I made a little small talk as we calibrated cogs, and I bitched about the Empire and these awful London swogs, and I twisted up my bloomers in the heat of my desire, but it didn't do me any good, we still weren't getting higher. As he tended to his main brace, I was bolstering his jigger, and I must confess it saddened me to find it wasn't bigger. Why, oh why, won't your airship fly? Does it need a little warming up, or is it feeling shy? Get it in position, dear, and you'll be flying high, but if you simply cannot dock it, I shall say goodbye. Smoke was pouring from the engine, there was water in the air duct, even though I'm not an expert, I said clearly it is very badly broken indeed. And my time is very precious, so I'll simply have to fly. He cried, oh, the humanity! Please give me one more try, but this lady's not for turning, and I buckled up my corset, and I said, you've left it too long now, it won't work if you force it. So he frantically scrabbled at the lever and the dials. As I cracked a porthole open, I said, with a winning smile, look, I know that you're frustrated being stuck here on the land, but if you crank it up too harshly, it will come off in your hand. Why, oh why, won't your airship fly? Are the storms overheated? Have the cogs gone all awry? I would have let you crewmates have a slice of my pie, but now an even bigger zeppelin has caught my eye. Gee whiz, look at the size of that. But, oh my god, you all fell silent then, that was weird. But, next time that I wandered for a stroll along the dock, I was minding my own business when I suffered quite a shock. As I glanced down at the water, someone's periscope emerged. It was going to get my ankles, and I thought, the bloody nerve. But the submarine resurfaced and the bridge opened to and the captain stuck his head out, and I cried, oh, I know you, the old sorry airship captain whose dirigible won't fly. With a fancy twirl of his moustache, he answered, yes, 'tis I. We fell into conversation, and he invited me in. And we spent the night exploring places I had never been. See, his airship failed quite tragically, and he could not revive her. But although he couldn't fly her well, he was an expert diver. I should prize, if your talent should lie elsewhere, I shall still be satisfied. We're about to stern your knowledge of this vessel is sublime, and you can enter my torpedo tubes another time. Yes. Sorry for getting NC-17 before 9 o'clock at night, but when I can play my instrument better, I'll go on later at night. For now, I just get to horrify everyone for this thing. Don't worry, there are some real musicians coming, and what's more, we're kind of building up as the night goes on. So first you've got me and my ukulele, then we've got Sister Chain and Brother John, we've got 2 vocalists with more instruments, and then at the end of the night we've got the Midsummers, which is like 11 people, and their voices. So we're just kind of gently edging you into a large amount of music. Oh, right. Okay, I'm drunk. Oh, yeah. Right, this next one, I like songs with lists in them. This lists quite a lot of the thing that the song is about. You're all Goths, you might recognise quite a few of the references that I make. And it's got an agenda, as this song. You're going to enjoy it. I've travelled to many a place in this world and seen many terrible things, from guillotines falling and banshees a-calling to dragons on terrible wings. I've cried at the moon with the werewolves, I've shaken the high castle gates, I've drunk with the vampires of all cats and creeds, but never met one who was straight. All vampires are gay, yes, all vampires are gay. I praise the Lord Satan who made them this way. The sun never shines on them, still they make hay. I tell you, all vampires are gay. I've drunken dark wine with Carmilla, who slyly bared one of her breasts. We finished the wine and then we spent our time doing things that I must not confess. I've commiserated with Renfield, that sorry young clerk of estate. He claimed that his ill-fated master was baited when he made John Harker his mate. All vampires are gay, yes, all vampires are gay. They know what they are and they feel no shame. They're hotter than hell to the church's dismay.
tell you all vampires are gay. You've read about Lestat and Louis, who wouldn't stop whining all night. They travelled to Paris, where dear Louis Aris was ate by a monde in one bite. You've seen what we do in the shadows, and heard Leslow's statements obscene. Though we've not seen Nandor and Gizmo in tandem, we all know what they do off screen. All vampires are gay, yes, all vampires are gay. They're in and they're hot and they're here to stay. From old Staten Island to the northern UK, I tell you all vampires are gay. I don't mean to say they're exclusive. The meaning of gay is quite broad. So if you are open to deviant notions, they'll devour you in their hordes. Now we know that gender is fluid. A mental mindfuck can be nice. And as I'm divinely blessed, I'm non-binary, and I'd fuck them all in a trice. All vampires are gay, yes, all vampires are gay, inclusive of LGBTQIA. Join in the fray. I tell you all vampires, I tell you all vampires, tell you all vampires are gay. Look, that doesn't go down well everywhere. I tried to present these findings at the Miskatonic University. They told me to get in the C. And I told them there is no C in LGBTQIA course. I know what we'll add it. Right. This next song, you know, a song stands well on its own merits when you've got to explain it before you sing it. This song goes back to the pandemic when my partner and I got a television and an Xbox and spent many, many hours playing Witcher 3. Now, because of the aforementioned problems with me moving my limbs and struggling with my hands, my partner played as Geralt, and I would sit there and kind of spectate and tell him where to go and what to do. And he had one terrible habit. He was very good at fighting, but every time he got to the end of a battle, he'd jump Geralt around, just make him prance around to celebrate. And in the version of the game we were playing, the fall damage was off the charts. If Geralt so much as fell off a barrel, he died instantly. We've just spent an hour fighting Phantom Riders, and then he falls off a wall and dies. Ugh. I was horrified, so I wrote this song about it. The only things you need to know about The Witcher are he carries 2 swords, one steel for fighting men, and one silver for fighting monsters. He uses potions to heal, and he fights not only with his swords, but with signs. The sign of Igni makes fire, the sign of Ard causes a mighty wind to roar. He plays Gwent. He walks around the country playing this card game in between killing monsters. It really gets in the way of the gameplay, frankly. Because you've just done a mission where you've tried to save someone's son from the ghouls in the mines. And you failed, and the guy was already dead when you got there, and you go back to his grieving father, and the first dialogue option you have is, would you like to play a round of Gwent?
It's a game of Gwent, not monsters.
To which the answer is obviously yes, and you sit down and play around the cards and take all the guy's good cards before telling you I'm really sorry about your son. So yes, content warning for repeated deaths. I rode out from Cameron where the wolf witchers are trained. I rode in blazing sunshine and I rode in pouring rain. I received an urgent message that a griffin must be slain. So I took up both my swords and went to fighting once again. With talons like a razor's edge and wing. Oh, this one has more than 2 chords in it, and you can tell. Talons like a razor's edge and wings that block the sun. And a screeching howl that could have made a witcher turn and run. I brandished high my silver blade and thrust about and spun. There's little that I wouldn't give to own a fucking gun. I fought the beast to say the least, the battle was quite hard, but I got the better of it when I used the sign of Ard. I brandished high my silver sword. No. I brandished high my silver blade. What? No, that was the oh my god. When it goes wrong, it doesn't have to go wrong back. This is an official hydration break. Raise your non-alcoholic drink. I see you at the back there. Raise your non-alcoholic drinks.
bloody hell. If Geralt didn't have struggles fighting this griffin, I bloody did. I fought the beast, to say the least, the battle was quite hard, though I got the better of it when I used the sign of R. The wind it blew, the thing I slew, it measured several yards, and so I pranced a victory dance that landed somewhat hard. Yes, I killed myself by falling off a tiny little wall. Compared with fighting griffins, it should not have hurt at all, but my confidence was big, although the obstacle was small. I killed myself by falling off a tiny little wall. From there I went to Velen, where the swamps are thick with fog, and the roads are rife with rabid wolves and packs of rabid dogs. I slew by sword a bandit horde whose limbs did fall like logs, and then fell off a wall again, the wolves they were agog. Yes, I killed myself by falling off a tiny little wall. Compared with fighting bandits, it should not have hurt at all, but my confidence was big, although the obstacle was small. Killed myself by falling off a tiny little wall. I felt remorse, got on my horse to Novigrad I went, and badgered every passerby to play around Gwent. I should have bought more potions, all the ones I had were spent, but before I found a merchant I upon a quest was sent. The monster was an ugly brute, as drowners tend to be. They live in open sewers, even in the big city. Through poison gas I hacked and slashed and saw my victory, but even underground an old opponent bested me. Yes, I killed myself by falling off a tiny little wall. Compared with fighting drowners, it should not have hurt at all, but my confidence was big, although the obstacle was small. Killed myself by falling off a tiny little wall. When I got back to Camoran in the evening, it was late. I was only level 20, but I fought like 28. Welcomed with vicious warriors and so consumed with hate. As I stood upon the ramparts, I prepared to meet my fate. Then Eredin, he entered in, the leader of the hunt. I'd rarely met a fighter who was such a vicious elf. As soon as they passed, I hacked and slashed and saw his leather smashed above the battlements. And then I celebrated with a rather stupid stunt. Yes, I killed myself by falling off a tiny little wall. Compared with phantom riders, it should not have hurt at all, but my confidence was big, although the obstacle was small. Killed myself by falling off a tiny little wall. And we did it without any fatalities, unlike our playthrough of Witcher 3. Right, I've got another filthy one. Again, it's innuendo-laden. It's not explicit. It's fine-ish. Right. And this one's an epistolary song, because there's nothing cooler than a novel that's a set of letters. So this one starts as a diary, and then it's a series of letters, and then it's more diary. I just love epistolary novels. Get it all from Dracula. Oh, brilliant. From the pen of Marcus KLB, redacted, on this Saturday, the 17th of June, to the headkeeper at large or whoever is in charge of the Municipal Aquarium Zoo. When I visited your upstanding establishment on last Thursday, twixt the hours of 10 and 2, after marvelling at the frogs and the arrogant peacocks, and when I'd had my fill of mispronounced gnu's, I made my happy way to the aquarium, where I quite enjoyed the penguins and the bream. But the sight that greeted me in the tank after the sardines was enough to make a decent person scream. So you really should put some trousers on that octopus, for the simple sake of public decency. For the way the creature moves is so terribly lewd that I frankly wondered what had come over me. Yes, you really must put some trousers on that octopus. Find suspenders you can fit on a cephalopod, for to spare the passers-by from the experience that I have suffered, which has left me feeling rather odd, not to mention queer. So I sent my simple letter with the postman, thinking that I'd done my duty by the town. But the next week I received a reply so ill-conceived that I couldn't help but feel rather let down. They wrote that we simply cannot put trousers on that octopus, though I appreciate that Madam is aggrieved. Imagine, I hope it quells Madame's alarm to learn the tentacles are on, so what would really be called for here would be some sleeves. No, we really cannot put trousers on that octopus, though I fear that your response will be quite bleak. But we'll have to bear your loss because we can't afford the cost of what would occupy a tailor for a week. I was somewhat undelighted. with the curtness of the headkeeper's reply. And it's clear lack of concern for the threatened lack of return of a fine upstanding lady such as I. So I hollered at my butler for some brandy, and I sniffed at some medicinal cocaine. And I tried to keep from my mind how those tentacles intertwined as I set my pen to paper once again. Dear sir, so you refused to put some trousers on your octopus. Oh, I asked so very nicely when I wrote. And I really thought that you, as a fine upstanding zoo, would not be run by such a common scrote. Okay, that might be a little far. Trust out that line and begin again. You really must put some trousers on that octopus, though I know the creature might put up a fight. For its tentacles are long, and the thought of them so strong that their writhiness is keeping me wide awake at night. I must insist you put some trousers on your octopus, for whether arms or legs, their tentacles are fine, and it's causing me alarm, so one might come to moral harm if the thoughts they have are anything like mine. So I flung my letter brusquely at the butler, and I fell into a quite uneasy sleep. When I think on it again, it might have been all that cocaine, but I dreamt of horrors sinuous and deep. I was in a submarine beneath the ocean, with a captain who's a dear friend of mine. We were otherwise engaged when in a fit of aqueous rage a giant squid appeared and took us from behind. The propeller of our submarine was shafted, and huge tentacles appeared beside the bed. I saw one enormous eye, something coiled around my thigh, and the rest of the dream is better left unsaid. 2 days later, I received a heavy package, with a letter carefully attached on top. So I opened up the seal, and the epistlage revealed, well, it absolutely caused my jaw to drop. Dear Madam, we really cannot put trousers on that octopus, for the octopus isn't shaped like you or I. You have quite missed in your haste that it doesn't have a waist, and we'd be stumped by when we ought to put the fly. We would rather not put trousers on our octopus, for the poor thing is already rather shy. He is very well behaved, although your thoughts might be to pray for reflection on yourself and not upon the octopi. Besides, there's no point putting trousers on an octopus when this problem is specific just to you. Might we politely propose that Madam uses enclosed if she wanders anywhere nearby our zoo? So I opened up the package they delivered, and then commenced to frown quite angrily. The solution made enclosed, which they politely proposed, was a motherfucking chastity belt and key. I fear that I cannot tell because my Fitbit is having a fit. We are well behind time. I'm going to play one last song. All good things must come to an end, as must all bad things. There are far better things awaiting you, I promise you. So, this one I think you'll recognise the tune of. If you want to join in with the main line of the choruses, please do. It'll be fun. It'll make you cooler. It won't make you cooler. Don't overexert yourselves. Where can you find pleasure? Linger at your leisure amongst the trees and statuary. Where can you begin to let the Goth within you quiver existentially? Where can you go dawdling when you're feeling maudlin? Fall down weeping to your knees. Tremble at the ghosts or raise a midnight toast to all your local ancestry. In the graveyard, read the epitaphs in the graveyard. Put some gruesome photographs in the graveyard. You can really have a laugh in the graveyard. In the graveyard, in the graveyard. You can creep down in the night in the graveyard. When the ghouls give you a fright in the graveyard. Let the vampires have a bite in the graveyard. In the graveyard. If you like adventure, grab a torch and enter through these tall and ancient gates. Tardiness is no crime, you are always on time. Everyone in here is late. If you're too afraid and you would hesitate to join us in our grave parade, you can sulk and pout and we'll go someday. In the graveyard, all your friends and all your foes are in the graveyard. It's where everybody goes, in the graveyard. So get rid of all your woes in the graveyard, in the graveyard, in the graveyard. Western Memorial stand in the graveyard. Come on, join your fellow man in the graveyard, where the jokes are told deadpan, in the graveyard, in the graveyard. Be aware as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I, as I am now, so you will be, so be prepared to follow me to the graveyard. It's where every story ends, in the graveyard. You can picnic on weekends in the graveyard, to impress your goth girlfriend in the graveyard, in the graveyard.
But we can do that one more time. Amerekat, ladies and